Hi everyone, my name is Leanne and today we are going to be talking about Taylor Swift titled book titles. So there has been a huge trend in publishing for there to be books that have the same titles as Taylor Swift song titles, particularly in the romance genre. The publishing industry has definitely been capitalizing on the hype around Swifties and the Eras tour, and I have bought into it to a certain degree as someone that loves books and loves romance books, but is also a big Taylor Swift fan. Now, even as a massive Swiftie who went to the Eras tour 3 times, I do find the repeated reference to Taylor Swift within the text of romance books, it can sometimes be a little bit jarring and too frequent. But I do find the breadth of Taylor Swift titled books that are coming out at the minute really interesting. You can see entire tables and displays of books that are solely Taylor Swift song titles. And some of these are obviously direct references to Taylor Swift. Emma R. Albin has a couple of books that I think are very clearly Taylor Swift lyric references. So there's I Don't Want You Like a Best Friend and You're the Problem, It's You. I feel like those are two really clear direct references to Taylor Swift. And then you have something like Look What You Made Me Do by Kat McKenna, which is a non-fiction book about celebrity fandom, the parasocial relationships that we have with celebrities, celebrity culture and gossip told through the lens of Taylor Swift. So it makes sense for this to have a Taylor Swift song title. It is very heavily influenced by our relationship with Taylor Swift. Then there are the books that it could be incidental that they have a title that is also a Taylor Swift song, but I feel like they're definitely jumping on that publishing trend of Taylor Swift songs. So things like Never Ever Getting Back Together by Sophie Gonzalez, Enchanted to Meet You by Meg Cabot, How You Get the Girl by Anita Kelly, Love Story by Lindsay Kelk, You Belong With Me by Mari McFarlane. I feel like these are all ones where, yes, those phrases exist outside of Taylor Swift, but I think a clear decision has been made there to try and connect the book with a Taylor Swift song. And all of those books come up a lot in those displays or those lists of books with Taylor Swift song titles. And there's loads more as well. But I wanted to talk to you about a few books that, whether they're tapping into the Taylor Swift connection or it's just coincidental, some books that I haven't been seeing cropping up on those lists. So I'm going to start with Reputation by Lex Croucher. Now, this book did come out post Reputation, Taylor's album, and it's certainly not a direct reference to Taylor Swift, and it came out before this big uplift in the trend of Taylor Swift titled books. This is a really fun book that takes a look at the sparkle and scandal of the Regency era, following a group of young people as they find their way in the society, going to parties, starting relationships. It's Regency, but a bit rebellious. Begin Again by Helly Acton. Now, Begin Again by Emma Lord is often listed in those lists of Taylor Swift book titles, but I haven't been seeing this one so much, and I didn't actually like Begin Again by Emma Lord. I would say this is a contemporary speculative novel. We're following Frankie, who's in that stage of her life where she's not sure what direction it's going in. She's not really sure what to do next with her life. She's feeling a bit unfulfilled in many different areas of her life, her career, her friendships, her romantic relationships. Then she dies in a freak kebab shop related incident and is given the opportunity to revisit her life and see how her life would have looked different if she had made a different decision at a crossroads point in her life. She gets to see what her life would have been if she had got that one-way flight, if she had said yes to that engagement, if she had shown up to that really intimidating job interview. She gets to experience what her life would be like if things had gone a bit differently at that moment. And I love books that take a speculative look at how people's lives could pan out in a different way. Next, I have 3 books all by the same author. They are all by Juno Dawson, and I don't think any of these books are direct references to Taylor Swift songs in any way. I think it's just coincidental. All of these books have titles that are, very commonplace English words. They don't feel like they're particularly Taylor Swift references. I mean, Cruel Summer first came out in 2013, so it's definitely not a reference to the Taylor Swift song in any way. But I just thought it was interesting that this author had 3 Taylor Swift songs in their back catalogue. So this is a young adult thriller that follows a group of old school friends in a villa in Spain. They come back together a year after one of their friends committed suicide, and they hope that this is the summer that they are going to be able to put that behind them and try and rebuild and move on with their lives. But that is until someone else arrives to this luxurious Spanish villa and claims to have proof that their friend's suicide was in fact a murder. And then we have Clean and Wonderland, both Taylor Swift songs from the 1989 album. These books are part of Juno Dawson's London trilogy that follow the dark underbelly of teen celebrity socialite culture, and particularly how the world of drugs and alcohol is so prevalent in those kind of high society celeb socialite circles. Hits Different by Tasha Guri. Now this is one that I feel like the title of it has been chosen because of it being a Taylor Swift song, or at least has been like influenced by it. So this is about Cassie, who is feeling a bit unsure of her direction in life. She's not sure what to do with her career. She's in a romantic kind of situationships that we can all see like is not working out well for her. She's kind of just stuck in this routine and doesn't know how to get out of this rut. But she is then offers the opportunity to be an understudy dancer for a massive European tour from a huge pop star. And it's about Cassie experiencing this summer where she is kind of falling in love with herself again, falling in love with dance, living this amazing life in Ibiza. What's really cool about this novel is the deaf representation that is included in it. So Cassie uses a cochlear implant, just like the author Tasha Guri does. And this is also co-authored with Lizzie Huxley-Jones, who is an amazing romance writer. And while it is a romance book, it is really about learning to love yourself. Next is a book that I haven't read yet, but I'm very excited to read, and that is Call It What You Want by Alyssa DeRogatis. This is set in 2016 in America, and we are following our main character Sloane, who is in her final year of college. She spends her nights partying, drinking, just having a great time with her friends, but she also has one eye on her future. She is preparing for the perfect post-grad life for herself in New York. But the last thing she wants is some guy to get in the way of her goals. She really needs to focus on landing her dream job, enjoying her senior year with her friends. And then Ethan shows up, and Ethan is a big distraction. I have such high hopes for this book. There's so many things about the description of the novel that makes me feel like it will really resonate with me and I will really love it. So fingers crossed that I do. There are a few more books that I don't have copies of, but they are very much on my radar. So there is A Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. This is the same author that wrote The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and they have their second book out at the minute, which is like The Cinnamon Bun something. And then very quickly at the same time, A Christmas Tree Farm is out, and I do think that A Christmas Tree Farm is a little nod to Taylor Swift. I honestly don't know anything about the plot of A Christmas Tree Farm. I just know it's basically going to be very similar to A Pumpkin Spice Cafe. It's going to be very cozy, seasonal, Gilmore Girls-esque. And that's all I need to know. Then we have Gold Rush by Olivia Petter. This is a book that is about consent, about celebrity culture, about power and women's role in kind of celebrity culture, PR, and how society mistreats and devalues women's bodies in that space. It follows Rose, a 20-something-year-old woman who works for one of the most powerful PR outlets in the country. During her time in this role, she meets a very high-profile British male celebrity, and it transpires that she ends up spending the night with this man, but has absolutely no memory of what happened. So again, I definitely don't think this is one that is kind of a direct Taylor Swift reference. It's just kind of an incidental Taylor Swift book title. But I think I find those kind of connections way more interesting than the very blatant, like, direct ones. But if you do want something that is clearly massively influenced by Taylor Swift, it is not a Taylor Swift book title, but it is The Breakup Tour by Emily Wibberley and Austin Siegmund Broca. This is the American cover that I picked up while I was in New York. I much prefer this cover to the UK one. But honestly, this book could be Taylor Swift fanfiction. Like, there are some details that are changed, and it is not like directly about Taylor. But if you are someone that does find all of the lore around Taylor's personal life and her relationships interesting, then I think you would really enjoy this book. It's about Riley Wynn, who has become this kind of sensational global superstar singer. She has created this breakup album that has an unforgettable lead single, and her ex-husband is trying to claim that that song is about him, but that is not true. So what Riley decides to do is reach out to her college ex-boyfriend, who once had similar aspirations to her in terms of becoming a famous musician. She decides to reach out to him, invite him to perform that song with her on her tour, because he is the real inspiration of that song. And then what follows is this kind of will they, won't they romance between the two of them. So there we have it. If you are a Swiftie, or if you're not, I hope you enjoyed hearing about some of these books. If there are any books that I haven't mentioned, and I'm sure there are loads, do feel free to leave them down in the comments. I wanted to try pick out some books that don't always make it onto these list of Taylor Swift inspired books or Taylor Swift book titles. It is getting very dark very quickly. There is like hardly any sunlight left outside the window, so I'm gonna leave it there and say goodbye. If you want to let me know you're here but you don't have anything in particular to say, leave me like a microphone or a music emoji to signify Taylor Swift. That is it for me today. I hope you're doing well, and I'll speak to you in my next video.